Hello, my name is Ashley Madrid, and today we will explore how Tibetan sky burials serves as both a spiritual and practical practice, shedding light on Buddhist views of impermanence, generosity, and rebirth. The sky burial is a tradition where the deceased body is left on a mountaintop to be consumed by vultures and scavengers. This practice might sound unusual to some of us, but it carries profound meaning within Tibetan culture. The philosophy behind sky burial reflects key Buddhist concepts, particularly impermanence or anicca, and the cycle of rebirth. Tibetans view the body as a temporary vessel, emphasizing that death is simply a natural part of life, with the body ultimately returning to nature. This ritual also symbolizes generosity and interconnectedness. By offering the body to sustain other creatures, the deceased performs one final act of respect and generosity, reinforcing the belief that life and death are deeply connected. It is also important to note the practicality of this ritual. In Tibet's mountainous terrain, where traditional burials or cremations are challenging, sky burial serves as a meaningful alternative. Now that we understand the purpose and philosophy behind sky burials, let's explore the setting and context of this unique ritual. Sky burials are typically performed in the remote high-altitude plateaus of Tibet. These quiet and serene mountain spots are chosen not only for practical reasons, but also because they are viewed as sacred spaces in Tibetan Buddhism. The ceremony is a deeply spiritual event. Lamas, or Buddhist monks, lead the prayers and chants, which are believed to help guide the soul of the deceased on its journey. The presence of the community, family, friends, and sometimes villagers provide collective support during this important transition. One of the most striking elements of the ritual is the role of vultures. These birds, seen as sacred, are believed to help carry the body back into the cycle of life, transforming death into a source of nourishment for other beings. Think about this for a moment. By placing the ritual in such a serene and sacred natural setting, Tibetan Buddhism not only highlights the impermanence of life, but also strengthens the bond between humans and nature. Now, let's take a closer look to the ceremony itself, which is both solemn and deeply symbolic. Sky burial begins with the gathering of the family and community, accompanied by lamas, monks, who perform prayers and chants. These prayers are not only for the deceased, but also to guide the soul on its journey to rebirth. This aspect reflects the Buddhist belief in the continuity of life. As the ceremony progresses, vultures circle overhead, drawn to the ritual site. They are considered sacred creatures, and their participation is seen as a spiritual act. When the body is offered to them, it symbolizes the ultimate act of generosity, giving back to nature and other living beings.
Shot 40 years ago, when foreigners were first allowed to enter Tibet.
Now this is a sky burial. There's a strange, eerie singing in the background that just ended. I didn't hear it when I took this picture. This Tibetan custom of chopping up the dead and feeding it to vultures. They see it as the best way for burial, as the body will go towards heaven with the vultures. It was quite an eerie sight, and it was unbelievable that we watched it. At this altitude, and it was early in the morning, around 6 or 7 in the morning, it was hard to believe I was seeing what was happening. The clothes all strewn on the side of the blood-stained rock. Vultures coming in.
Okay, next, let's explore the deeper meanings and values reflected in the tradition of sky burial. These aspects provide insight into how Tibetan Buddhism views life, death, and our connection to the world around us. First, sky burial reflects the Buddhist concept of impermanence, or anicca. This idea acknowledges that all things are temporary, including the human body. By embracing this impermanence, Tibetan Buddhists can approach death with acceptance and a sense of peace. The ritual also embodies the principle of generosity. Offering the body to vultures serves as the final act of giving back to nature. It symbolizes the interconnectedness of all living things, showing how one life can sustain another. Finally, a sky burial illustrates hopefulness in rebirth. In Tibetan Buddhism, death is not an end, but a transition to a new existence. This belief helps families and communities to find comfort in the idea that the soul continues its journey. Now, let's explore how Tibetan sky burial connects to broader cultural themes. In history, cultures like the Egyptians and the Vikings had elaborate practices for preserving the body, aiming to secure a safe passage to the afterlife. Well, in contrast, sky burial reflects the Buddhist belief of impermanence, where the body is returned to nature. All these rituals also reinforce social bonds, with the community playing an integral role. Today, practices like eco-friendly burials show how ancient rituals adapt to modern values of sustainability and spiritual interconnectedness. And so to wrap up, sky burial highlights key Buddhist values like impermanence, generosity, and rebirth. It teaches us that death is not an end, but part of a continuous cycle of life and nature. By understanding this practice, we can gain a deeper appreciation for how different cultures view life's transitions. As we reflect on these ideas, I encourage you to think about how death rituals in your own culture shape your understanding of life and the interconnectedness of all things. And that's all. All right. Thank you.